Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company with service centers, like the big voice said, 4 different service centers to help you out. We have the original, the OG Schrock Innovations, 7501 South 14th Street, or South 15th Street, technically. I always say 14th because literally it's on 14th, just south of Pine Lake Road. There is no way to get to 15th unless you're already on 14th. So, long story short, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Next one was Omaha location, 168th and Burke. Fun fact, did you know that that was not the first Omaha service center? For those of you who have been with the program for years and years and years, been doing this for 20 plus years now. But for those of you who haven't been around quite that long, the original Omaha Service Center was located in a strip mall off 83rd and Maple Street. Yep. The lovely Kimberly and I did the entire interior renovation ourselves, and that is where we learned that if you want something built out of wood, it is not something you have Thor do. So that was great. You know, my best friend pretty much electrocuted himself doing the electrical. I mean, he wasn't an electrician. That's probably why that happened. Don't use metal Gerbers. I mean, there's all kinds of fun stories we could tell during the aftershock, but just a fun fact. Next location, 84th and Highway 370 in Papillion. Also, 9500 University Avenue in West Des Moines, Iowa. The West Des Moines, Iowa Service Center, I have to tell you, it is the fastest growing service center in the history of Schrock, the way it's come along. You know, it was kind of funny, too. Yesterday, it was my wife. I got finished putting the kids to bed. I came down the stairs, and my wife was sitting there with her mom. They were watching one of those fixer-upper shows or whatever. And so I'm sitting on the couch, you know, kind of half watching it, kind of half not. And I'm thinking about houses because I'm watching a show about houses. And I just thought to myself, I wonder what's the most expensive house, right? So, you know, I search in Omaha. And I search in Lincoln. You know, Lincoln, you can get a really big house for a lot less than you'd spend in Omaha. And then I said, well, let's check West Des Moines. Wow. There are some like $12 million mansions in West Des Moines, Iowa. What's going on? Holy cow. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not living in a $12 million mansion, so they're fun to look at. Not sure what else is going on there, but there's some expensive properties there. Number to join us on the program this morning, 888-250-2091. Now, let me explain how this works. Compute This is recorded live. Recorded live? Isn't everything recorded live? But anyway, the show is live 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. We record that program because not every radio station has that time slot available. We try to get it if we can, but not every station does. So then the show rebroadcasts at whatever time slot in Lincoln and West Des Moines, Iowa that we can get. Sometimes West Des Moines gets preempted for sports, for example, but we do our best to make sure we get you the show every week. If you do miss it for some reason or you can't find it on your local dial because it's preempted by sports, something like that, you can always watch it live at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. That's where we're streaming right now, actually. Let me refresh my page here so I can see comments over here. But facebook.com/Schrock Innovations is where you can also take a look at the program. We also archive the show. So if you missed last week's show, for example, you missed a good one. And those shows are available at SchrockInnovations.com. Just click on the radio show tab there, and you'll be able to get what you're looking for. Now, speaking of last week we reminded you that time was running out for the maintenance checkup sale. For those of you who may not be aware, we are currently running our very popular preventative maintenance checkup sale at Schrock with a little more urgency than we normally do. A couple of reasons for that. Number one, you know, I'm not going to get all doom and gloom on you. I try to be a positive guy. And there's definitely not doom and gloom in the air. I'm not trying to, you know, we're not in Ukraine, right? You know, but boy, the way the world is moving right now, my spidey sense is tingling that we're living through a period of history here that is just. I was just asking somebody before the program who is slightly my elder, you know, have you seen anything like this in your life? Like, I mean, I kind of woke up around Ronald Reagan, you know, and then after that, you know, I was awake for the rest of it. But before that, I, you know, wasn't really cognizant of politics or world events or anything like that. And the answer everyone I've talked to is like never, nothing like this. I mean, you have to go back to World War II for something like this. I mean, it's that huge, and the things that it's going to do to the world are going to reverberate for a long time. So it seems that making sure your technology is like up and running is such a small, unimportant thing that it almost defies attention, right? Because there's so many more important things to think about or worry about or donate to or volunteer for right now. But I'm telling you guys that technology is your key to everything. We have some stories today about what's happening to the people in Russia. There is serious information warfare going on. And by information warfare, imagine it's like water warfare. We're just going to take it away. And I'm not sure that's a great idea. We can talk about that during the show here when we get to that segment. But, we're going to talk a little bit today about what's going on in Russia. Russia is like, well, we might disconnect from the internet. And the internet, literally the internet is saying, no, hold my beer. Why don't we help you out with that? You're going to disconnect all those people from any source of information that's not Russian? Why would you do that? So sometimes you got to wonder, is this really smart? But in a world where that can happen, where you can just take an entire country of people and disconnect them from the world, you realize how important the technology is to your daily life. What happens if the bill pay doesn't work? Do you still get a paper bill for everything? I don't. What happens if the auto pays that are scheduled don't go off that you don't think about because, they're on auto pay? That's the whole point of auto pay. You got to pay the electric bill. I'm going to put it on auto pay. What happens if those auto pays don't happen? Does the electric company care why they didn't happen? During the aftershock, we'll talk about these Russian bonds and credit default swaps. Totally has nothing to do with technology, but it's the same thing. If you buy a bond and then there's a credit default swap offsetting the bond to kind of hedge it, well, did they default if they pay in rubles or not? Maybe, schmaybe, I don't know. So if your computer is your lifeline to the outside world, it is how you do so many small things that in your day-to-day life right now would seem insignificant. But let me blow up your morning and take away your cup of coffee, something that in the grand scheme of things is completely insignificant. Well, for most people. Some people. Well, a few people. But let me take away your cup of coffee. Let me take away your bowl of cereal. Let me take away one thing that's part of your daily routine every day and then let you adjust. Now multiply that times every little thing that your computer can do for you, and you realize how important it is to have a piece of technology that gets the job done. So in the middle of everything that's going on, we're experiencing part shortages, especially on HP laptops right now for some reason. Hinges, can't get hinges. Lids, can't get lids. Palm rests, can't get a palm rest. Palm rests have the keyboard built into it. So you spill a drink in your keyboard? Sure, we would just replace the keyboard normally. Normally, it's an $80 part. It's an hour of labor. We put it in, you're good to go. You're back up and running. Well, now it's a $150 part if we can find it. Anywhere. We're having to buy whole laptops that are like broken inside, like the motherboard doesn't work, just so we can get the palm rest on a used one. And to pay $150 for the used part, not the new part, just to get computers up and running for people. So one of the things that's been really different about this maintenance checkup sale is typically we run these sales twice a year. We may only do it once this year. But we run these sales, and lots of people go to the website and they buy the certificates. They buy the preventative maintenance checkup certificates. Now, these certificates allow you to come in anytime you want in the next 6 months to get a maintenance checkup. Maybe right now is not a great time for you to drop everything in your life and bring your computer in because it's oh so important. Maybe next month would work better. Maybe you're going to be traveling over the summer and you would say, I'll drop it off while I'm on vacation. So you can pick up one of these certificates for the sale price. So you get the sale price and you can redeem it anytime in the next 6 months. It's pretty convenient. The majority of people actually do that. They don't actually come in when we have the sale. Not like it used to be. I remember years ago, we'd do the radio show before we had the buy it on the website and all that stuff. And we'd say it's a maintenance checkup sale. And we'd have 700 computers checked in like 2 days because everybody had to come in during the sale. We ran it for like a week and a half, and it was like compressed. Now we run it for the whole month. It's good through the end of the month. You can buy a certificate on the website. All these things helped improve our service because we were able to string that demand out a little bit. Well, now what's happening is the demand is compressing again. Why is the demand compressing again? I don't think my spidey sense is the only one that's tingling. I think other people are feeling the same thing. And they're saying, you know what? I want to check this off my list. I want to get this maintenance. I want to, if there's a bad part, I want to know about it now while I can get the part, and the part isn't a ridiculous amount of money. Let's get it done. And so lots of people are actually coming in. Yesterday, I was in the Papillion Service Center for the afternoon with Zach. And, oh my gosh, we must have checked in 9-10 computers before noon. So the first 2 hours where we were open on top of phones and everything else. I mean, Papillion has 12 bench spots in the service center. So to check in 9 or 10 computers in 2 hours, that's a full queue because we had a full bench. And so now today, Zach dumped a bunch of stuff off yesterday, got it all finished. I shouldn't say he dumped your computer off. That's not really a good servicey thing to say, right? He gracefully efficated repairs upon your technological device, upon which time it was gently lowered on a pillow-like cloud to the floor where it sits on a ledge, so it's 1 inch above the floor in case we ever get water. It's happened once before in the history of the company, so that's how bureaucracy works, where it awaits your joyous reunification. There you go. That's better, right? No, but I mean, he finished a bunch of computers, so we can get a bunch up, and then we're ready to check in more today, and that's how the world works. But it's like that in all the service centers right now. We're just busier than normal for a time of the year. The reason we run the maintenance special right now, guys, is this is when we start slowing down for the year typically. Now to back to school, families are traveling, people aren't in front of their computers, they're out gardening. This is about the time of year things slow down at Schrock. But we're busier than ever. We're busier than we were during the holiday season right now. We're selling more computers right now than we did during the holiday season, which is a mind-numbing thought. It is insane. We're looking around like are a bunch of competitors go out of business? No, it's inventories. Nobody's got anything. We're the only place that has them in stock. That you can come in and buy one and take it home. Yeah, it's been a challenge to keep them in stock, but it hasn't been. It's not like during COVID. It's not insurmountable. Why is everybody having these problems and we are not? It doesn't make sense. But I digress. The challenge that we have here, guys, is I want to encourage you to get your computer maintenance. There's a lot coming that we haven't seen yet. There's a lot of cyber attacks, a lot of cyber possibilities we have not seen yet. Ransomware is going crazy right now. They're not even demanding ransoms anymore. It's called wiper software, where it's a ransomware attack, and it demands a ransom, but instead of encrypting your files, it just deletes them. And if you're stupid enough to pay the ransom, well, that's just a bonus to them. This is the kind of stuff that's hitting the Ukraine right now. And the problem with these cyber weapons is they're never contained to a geographical area. It's not like they're cyber bombs that have a yield that go out a certain distance from the target. Cyber attacks, once released, go global. They go through the entire internet. The Iranian centrifuge attack was super risky because it was attacking Siemens systems that were running centrifuges. Well, Iran's not the only country in the world that uses those systems. So yeah, if that gets out of Iran and gets out into like Germany or Italy or some other country, we could have a problem, right? So you have to be very, very careful with cyber attacks. But right now, we have a situation where there's not a whole lot of careful going on, if you know what I mean. A lot of indiscriminate stuff. Calculated, but indiscriminate. So don't be one of those indiscriminate people that gets hit with a cyber attack because they didn't get antivirus, or somebody who has a hard drive that fails and you go into data recovery because you didn't know it was failing. Come in for the maintenance checks. I know you run Secure Updater. I know you run Drive Advisor. Trust me, guys, those programs do an immense amount of work to keep you safe and keep you informed about the health of your hardware. But there are still things that software can't do, and there are still things that software can't test. For example, this Drive Advisor doesn't test the speed of your solid-state hard drive. It can test the health, but not the speed. And the speed is the leading indicator of a failure before it happens. So, we have it on the drawing board. Can we update Drive Advisor to test the speed of your solid-state? Sure, I think we can do that. We just got to get someone coding on that. We'll get right on that. Problem is, that's going to take some time to do. And in the meantime, if you have a hard drive that's failing, we want to get that addressed now, or that's going to fail in the next 6 months, that we can detect a failure is coming. We want to take care of that now, and that's what preventative maintenance does. So right now, those maintenance checkups are on sale for $59.99. They're normally $95, so it's about just under 40% off. But I'll tell you what, guys, I I was talking to a customer yesterday. Do you know that a maintenance checkup at Best Buy costs $160? Are you choking over there, Roger? No, I was like, wow. I mean, yeah, I know it's shocking, but it's $160 for a maintenance check, and they do half of what we do. When did we become the low-cost leader? Well, part of this is because we've been trying to hold our prices level. We've been trying to maintain everything so that we can be a stable place for you to go, someone that you can rely on, not only for great service, for feeling good when you're done, but for doing the job right the first time, getting it done so it lasts, and at a price that's reasonable. And, you know, it's hard in your brain to say, I need to charge $160 instead of $95 because that's what everyone else is charging, and therefore that's what's reasonable. I'm not so sure that's reasonable. That seems a little high to me, especially when you're doing half the amount of work that we're doing. You know, maybe we could justify $99 if we wanted to raise it, but I don't think we can go to $160. But I don't know. Maybe that's the world around us, and I'm just too old school for that. I don't know. 888-250-2091. So last week on the program, we reminded you, like I said, that the time for the maintenance special was running out. We talked about the immense value that Secure Updater gives you right now. Secure Updater is a product that we make at Schrock Innovations that keeps all of your third-party software up to date. There were 95 updates last week for different various programs, some of which you use, some of which you don't. Secure Updater installed all the updates that were available for the third-party programs that it covers within 8 hours of release automatically. You didn't even have to think about it. It's pretty darn good value for about $2 a month. We also told you about how internet and technology is shaping the battle space of Ukraine. It's amazing now we're getting drone footage out of Ukraine from Ukrainian forces blowing up Russian stuff. Well, those are Turkish drones that were supplied through Turkey, obviously, that are sending that video back. So it's pretty interesting stuff there. Coming up on the program today, is DuckDuckGo turning evil? I've recommended DuckDuckGo on this program. In fact, it's the default search engine on every computer we produce at Schrock Innovations. You can switch it back to Google if you want to, but it's not. Google's not our default anymore at Schrock. There's too much questionable stuff going on over there that it's not a safe place. I don't use it anymore at all. But now DuckDuckGo, are they turning dark too? Is this what happens when every company grows to a certain size? They just start to become part of this censorship mafia. We're going to talk about that coming on the program here. Also, the need for service in our world. I touched on this a little bit, but when you stop and think about it, service is really the core of everything that we do as small businesses. So I want to take a moment to talk to other small businesses and to talk to our customers and then thank them for their patronage and what we try to do and how we try to meet your expectations every day. Also, the ultimate sanction is Russia being cut off from the internet. There are 3 companies that provide internet access into Russia as a country. They also happen to provide internet to Belarus and Iran, which is kind of ironic. What happens if they stop? We're going to talk about that on the show as well. 888-250-2091. Going to take our first break of the program. DuckDuckGo and the dark side coming up next on Compute This.
Update all of your third-party apps on your computer with Secure Updater. It keeps all your apps running smoothly and helps block viruses. Download it for free today at secureupdater.com. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs, and all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases, even your identity. Today's cyber criminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually, or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. 4 locations across the Midwest to help you out with your computer. We do our best to make sure that you stay secure, that you stay safe, whether you're using a Mac or a PC, that your computer is maintained and ready to take on the challenges of the day. 888-250-2091. So you guys have heard me talk about DuckDuckGo before. DuckDuckGo, it started off as a search engine, and the response was, Google literally, and I mean literally, tracks every keystroke that you do, every mouse movement that you do on their websites, any of their websites. In fact, every website that runs Google Analytics data, which if you own a business website, you pretty much are required to run if you want to be ranked in Google, is also tracking everything you do. And so online privacy is becoming a real challenge. Why should somebody have a complete history of everything you've ever done on your computer? So enter the DuckDuckGo search engine. DuckDuckGo is an alternative search engine to Google. So the same thing, you'd go to Google to look something up. Instead of going to Google, you go to duck.com, you type it in. The page looks really similar. The results are completely different because one of the things there's 2 things. DuckDuckGo is designed to be a privacy service. We don't track you. We don't even know how many users use Duck because we don't keep track. Like, we literally track nothing. Everything is your data is your data. Then they introduced the Duck browser that allows you to browse the internet and then not be tracked. It's kind of nice. So people were a little surprised because this desire to not be tracked kind of goes hand in hand with a desire to, see true search results, right? So when you go to this Duck search engine, yes, you're not being tracked for what you're searching for, and your results are not manipulated based on what Google will give each individual person different search results based on what they think you want to see, with the caveat that certain things are downvoted in the search engine so that they don't show up in anyone's search results. Well, Duck wasn't doing that, because to do that would require them to track you, to understand what you want to see. To do that, they would have to, of course, follow you through the internet. So they don't do that. And as a result, the results that you get on Duck are the same for everybody, which lends to a more trustworthy environment because the results are repeatable, and you see stories on Duck that you just don't see on Google when you do searches. So you actually, in my opinion, you get information that you would not be able to get through Google when you use Duck Search. So now for maps and finding businesses and hours and things like that, Duck is awful. Google's great for that, but Duck is awful for that. But for actual web searches, they're pretty good. So everyone was a little surprised when DuckDuckGo announced that they are going to start censoring Russian misinformation, because everybody knows how this story goes. First, you're going to censor something that everybody agrees on. Russian disinformation, right? It's bad. Shouldn't have that Russian disinformation. Actually, it's kind of fun in a sickening way to go read RT.com, like RussiaToday.com, and it's all the same stories that you can see on Fox or CNN, but they're all just twisted a little bit. And then there was an interview that they did with one of their soldiers who was talking about how people in the Ukraine are welcoming us with flowers in Odessa. Literally, they ran that in the English version of RT.com. Like, that's just such obviously, it's demonstrably not true. okay. So it's kind of interesting to read the propaganda because you can understand it's propaganda. Now, there are some really good sources of propaganda that maybe make it through and you don't understand it. Does that mean that everybody who says we shouldn't go blow up Russia, is a Russian propagandist? No, that doesn't mean that at all. People can have opinions and disagree and have viewpoints. Nobody wanted to go blow up Hitler either in the beginning. Remember? Like, when he started invading countries and everyone said, well, maybe he just wants that and we'll give him just that and he'll stop. Wow, you're hearing that exact same thing right now. He just wants the Ukraine, maybe half the Ukraine. Would we let him have half the Ukraine and then maybe like call a ceasefire then? Would everybody be okay with that? Does he need the whole Ukraine? What about Poland? What about Moldova? So you start hearing you're going to block Russian disinformation. But then that's the big evil thing today. Putin, I saw this quote, Putin should get the Nobel Peace Prize for medicine for single-handedly ending the coronavirus pandemic. Because nobody talks about COVID anymore. Putin is the new COVID. He is the thing. You better wear your mask. You're going to catch Russian. I mean, it's bad. So now you can't be in Russia. You can't be in the country. You can't do business with the country. You got to pull everything out of the country. DuckDuckGo says Russian propaganda bad. We're going to lower its search relevance in our search engine for all Russian media outlets. Okay. So the point here is DuckDuckGo is deciding what misinformation is. Or are they? Who is actually making the decision? Is it the same people who make the decision on what misinformation is for Google? Is it the same people who said that all these things throughout the pandemic were not true, that now we're actually seeing the science coming out saying they were true the entire time? And scientists are like, well, we all knew that, but we couldn't say it. We get censored. That's the slippery slope that everyone's worried about. Now, Duck comes out and says, listen, number one, we never said that we were not going to deliver search results that we believe are relevant. What we said is we weren't going to track you. So there you go. We have an obligation to deliver relevant search results to you. So when you're searching for, news on the war in Ukraine, should Russia Today be an acceptable news source on par with New York Times, CNN, Fox News? Probably not. I wouldn't. It's a state-owned media outlet. I'd put it up there with PBS NewsHour. It's probably not exactly reliable, okay? It's probably not the whole truth most of the time, or just selected parts of the truth. So I'm not moving away from Duck myself yet. There are alternatives out there. There's the Brave browser. Brave also has a search engine. I won't get into all the details about how Brave works, but it's definitely a blockchain-centric application. So it crosses some lines into cryptocurrency or cryptocurrency theory a little bit. It's decentralized. So it's, there's some definite advantages there. I'm not jumping the ship on Duck just yet. I think this was a trial balloon that they floated out there because everybody hates Russia right now, right? So what's the safest thing you can do? We're going to do this too. And all of a sudden their users said, no, don't do that. Because today you can't trust the Russian government. Tomorrow, what if it's the Canadian government? What if you can't trust the Canadian government? What if they decide that they're just going to take people's bank accounts or seize their vehicles or sell them and send the money to, Lord knows who? Oh, wait, that already happened. Or wait, maybe everyone will just decide that if you're Russian and you own anything anywhere, you can just take it and sell it and do Lord knows what with the money. I mean, there's not a whole lot of sympathy for the Russian oligarchs out there, but we still have property rights. You can't just take someone's apartment or yacht or house without any court proceedings, without any due process, and sell it and keep the money. You can't just turn off treasuries held by a foreign country. Those are property. Yet we did it. It's an interesting time we're getting into here, and it's just going to get more interesting, and it's important to have a reliable source of information that you can count on, which is one of the reasons we switched to Duck in the first place. So that's why it was so concerning. 888-250-2091. We're going to take our bottom of the hour break. When we come back, guys, the need for service in our world. I have 3 different notes that I received in the last week from customers regarding the importance of service. And I wanted to take a moment to talk to all the businesses out there and to talk to our customers about what our service mission is, why we have that mission, why we do what we do the way that we do it, and the competitive advantage that gives us in a world where you're never going to compete on price. You're never going to beat Amazon. You're never going to beat Best Buy. You're never going to beat Walmart on price. So you got to outperform somewhere else. And service, I'm telling you guys, service is the clutch that will lift your business, that people appreciate. And if you appreciate service, you're going to appreciate this next segment coming up on Compute This.
Now you can configure and purchase laptops, desktops, tablets, and more, all at the new SchrockInnovations.com. Check out our specials for one-of-a-kind discounts and deals. Schrock Innovations has spent nearly 2 decades working to make your technology life easier, and the all-new SchrockInnovations.com is no exception. Now you can order new modular computers and solid-state laptops directly from our website, secure your computer with our virus-free guaranteed Symantec endpoint software, find innovative new technologies like our modular storage devices, and get free help and tips. Take a look at the specials section to find sales on one-of-a-kind items, display models, refurbished units, and our latest special offers. Swing by the Compute This page to watch TV segments and archived radio shows, or even get one-on-one help through the Schrock Desk. As always, we respect your privacy, so we secure our website with the latest encryption technology and only the most secure payment methods. You can pick up your purchases at any of our 3 service centers or have them shipped directly to your door. The new SchrockInnovations.com makes technology simple. It's what we do. And now Compute This Pro tip number 373. Everyone knows we're supposed to back up our computers and then check those backups periodically to make sure they're working. So why don't most people do it? Lots of people have different ideas about what backing up means. Is it copying files to a flash drive? Is it using a fancy backup program? And how do you know it's working anyway? Windows makes backups easy through free software that's already on your computer. Open your control panels and click Update and Security. Select Backup and choose from all of the available options to get a regular, reliable checkup. You'll need something to back up to, like a Schrock modular storage device or some other backup hard drive. Backups usually run once a week, but you can always change the frequency. The best part is that if your backup ever fails, you'll see a notification in the lower right corner by your clock telling you something's up. Backing up your important data has never been easier. So take a moment to back up your computer today. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
I'm Karen McHugh. In Ukraine, several have been killed in a wave of Russian missile attacks on a military base near the Polish border.
8 missiles slammed into the Yavoriv military base. That's about 30 miles from where I'm standing, and it is just a dozen or so miles from the Polish border. Now, that base, also known as the International Peacekeeping and Security Center, was hosting U.S. troops just a few weeks ago.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt. Iran is claiming responsibility for a missile attack on a U.S. diplomatic compound in the northern Iraqi city of Erbil.
Multiple U.S. defense officials tell Fox News none of the missiles hit the consulate. All U.S. personnel are accounted for. There were 0 U.S. casualties and injuries in the vicinity. The consulate in Erbil is unmanned.
Fox's Brian Yennis. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Not quite as cold this morning. Temperatures in the upper 20s. We'll see plenty of sunshine throughout your Sunday. A quick warm-up with afternoon highs around 65 degrees. Increasing clouds overnight, lows around 39. Clouds sticking around on Monday, a bit cooler with highs near 57. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist David Keller.
All righty, folks, welcome back in. Thanks for sticking with us through the break there. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Here's an example of a headline that you won't find on Google, but you will find on Duck. This just in via Fox. In England, the flu is now more deadly than COVID. Or maybe I should say COVID is less deadly than the flu. Now, I don't know if they've turned off the censorship that prevents that from being said on Google and YouTube yet. We'll find out, because if this show doesn't, that we put them up on Rumble, we put them up on YouTube. Sometimes YouTube yanks them down because I say something like this, and then, you have to watch it on Rumble. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's just one example of how misinformation It depends who the judge is of misinformation, who is deciding what the misinformation is. And I honestly, I think you need to be able to decide what's misinformation for yourself, because I've read a couple articles. I read an article yesterday that, no joke, actually posited that when you get a COVID-19 vaccination, it's injecting nanoparticles into your body that come together to form a computer inside your body and they monitor all of your heart rate, your temperature, all this stuff, and then uses your body as a transmitter to send this data via 5G networks to a giant server farm somewhere. That was a serious article. And I'm like, that's not true. Number one, if that was true, imagine the products that would already exist for this. Number two, that's not true. Number three, I love me a good conspiracy theory, but that's not true. But I got to read the story and decide that it wasn't true. Now, some people are going to read that story and be like, oh, no, we have to burn down the 5G towers because that'll stop it. Or someone will read that story and say, I told you not to take that vaccine. It was a computer virus chip from Bill Gates. You're going to hear it all, guys, but I mean, that's just not true. I'd be shocked if that was true. All right. So one thing that is true, though, is, I mentioned earlier in the program that our prices haven't exactly kept pace with the prices of our competitors around us. We haven't raised as often as they have or as high as they have when, the time has come to do so. I mentioned, the cost of a maintenance checkup at Best Buy. Best Buy, a lot of their services are hard to benchmark against ours because they bundled them together. So you get like 5 different services that maybe you only need 2 or 3, but you get all 5. And so it's a little difficult to determine their exact value. And of course, we have other competitors who are smaller than us that charge less than we do. We shop them. We actually send Schrock employees once a year to these competitors with a broken computer that we have specifically broken on purpose to see what they do. And we know who the good ones are in town, who actually know what they're doing. We know who the bad ones are in town that you should never go to. And we know that no one in town considers service to be the number one product that they sell. A lot of places do lip service to this. So, yeah, our service is really important to us. You're only the best service here. And there are a couple computer repair shops that really you make a good go at it, in the Omaha metro area specifically. One, actually, that I can think of that make a really good go at it. But when it comes down to it, they're not selling their service. They're selling the computer repair stuff dressed up in a service bow. So let me give you an example of this. These are the kind of things that we get. This is just last week at Schrock. These are the ones that hit my inbox. These are the people who took the time to email the owner of the company to tell him about specific employees in the company. So this doesn't count any of the Google reviews we got. This is just emails to me. Hello, Thor. Schrock Innovations is totally my go-to for computer needs. All your employees are top-notch in a business world that is hard to find. Most recently, Trent at your Papillion office, not to be confused with Trent Dunn, who runs the Omaha office. We'll get into that later. Trent in your Papillion office helped me with a lot of questions on speed with Cox and a possible new router. When I need that router, you better believe I'll buy it from Schrock. You guys do a great job and care about the people you hire. Thank you, Joan. We sell routers, and yeah, we'll help you with your internet connection, but there was nothing in that entire exchange where we charged her any money. We just helped her solve a problem, and we earned some trust. We earned some credibility with her so that when she does have something, when Joan needs something, she would hopefully come to us. Next one. I don't write many letters of this nature pardon my errors, but you seldom encounter an employee like Corby. I purchased a new printer and, being painfully aware of my lack of skills in dealing with electronics, decided to ask for the second time in my life for help getting it set up correctly. I nearly passed out when I heard them quote me $160. That was the on-site after tax. But I agreed. I requested the same person who helped me before, but Mr. Trenton got promoted, which is not unexpected. Yes, he's running the Omaha Service Center now. Fortunately, Corby is cut from the same material. He was smiling when I opened the door, and he left me smiling after I had him install the printer. Corby was efficient, knowledgeable, professional, and was perfection on 2 feet. Wow, I mean, his head's going to swell when he reads this. He looked me in the eyes when I asked him a question, and I know that some of the questions were pitiful, but he listened, smiled, and answered everything. He asked when he arrived if he should take off his shoes. It's the little things, the attention to detail, and the concerns about me in this day and age that are most unique. I hated to see him go, but thank God, well, he gets paid hourly. So, you know, I hated to see him go, but God, he came and did a fantastic job for me. If Corby doesn't impress someone, they should seek medical attention because he is one of the very best, Ed. That's Corby from the Papillion Service Center. And here's a third one. I'm not going to read all of these, but here's a third one. I called today with, this is Richard. I called today with concerns about a scam on my laptop that I purchased from you in December. My call was taken by Paula. She's the front desk in the Omaha Service Center. And she not only took care of my concern, but she was also able to help with a few more questions I had. I'm retired now, but in the computer service business back when computers were room-sized. Paula is a keeper. She showed intelligence, competence, and great communication skills. Thanks, Paula, for your help, and thanks, Thor, for hiring great talent. Now, that tells you right there. Paula gets that call about 15 times a day. I think my computer's infected. There's a pop-up on the screen that says call a number. Don't do it. It's not infected. You're probably okay. Let's get you taken care of, especially if you have Sophos. But this kind of stuff, guys, when you have a motivation to deliver a service experience, going back, I came from the food service industry. Everyone in my generation, the Gen Xers, we all worked in a restaurant at some point, right? But I did restaurant management, and I learned there that it doesn't matter how good the food is. I mean, it matters, but the thing that people come to a restaurant to do is to enjoy a meal. Giving a good meal is not enough. It's not the same as enjoying the meal. Enjoying the meal is the full experience. I went to an orthodontist and had a root canal last week. Let me tell you, the doctor was amazing. Didn't even feel the needle go in, numbed me up real good, didn't even feel it. Did the work. He said, it's going to take an hour to an hour and a half. I was in the chair for 2 hours. I actually dozed off at one point while getting a root canal, if that tells you how good the doctor was. His support staff, though, left a lot to be desired. I won't go into all the details here on the radio, but it was a great example of how having an orthodontist that can really do a root canal while you fall asleep because you're just tired and, just don't get drilling in your mouth, whatever. And support staff that get the paperwork wrong, and support staff that are short with their instructions, or they appear to be pained that they have to deal with you. I'm sorry I didn't get my feet perfectly aligned together while you did the CT scan. I didn't realize my foot position was important to the CT scan on my head. Grab the handles. Grab the handles. Where are the handles? I can't. My head is bolted into a machine. I can move my eyes, but I can't move my head. Where are the handles? It's the little things like the experience that I had there was, I left walking away thinking that doctor is good, but I don't know that I'd go back there for another root canal again. Having that service is your product attitude. That's what we try to do at Schrock. Of course, we are in the business of fixing computers and selling computers and getting things installed and making things work right. But it's all about the experience of using the technology product. If we can make that experience pleasant for you, if we can make the experience worth your while, so when you walk away, you say, man, I'm glad I went there. That's what we sell. That's what we try to deliver every single time. Do we meet that expectation every single time? We do our best to. We're hiring. We just hired Sean. He's going to be a new guy. We're training him in Papillion right now to go to Des Moines. He was on the phones for the first time this week, and it made me cringe every time he answered the phone. I was like, oh. First time he answered the phone, he actually almost said the wrong company name because it was the first time he'd answered the phone since his previous job. But, it's those little things. We'll get through those things. Those are training things, and then we have a great employee. In fact, Chris from the Lincoln Service Center is going to be transferring to Des Moines to run that service center. He's going to be moving from Lincoln to Des Moines to run that service center. One of the best customer service representatives in our company. And he's in Des Moines, you're getting him. So it's amazing stuff. So I want to say thank you to all the customers who do business with us, and thank you to everyone who trusts us to work on their technology. It means the world to us. And we're glad that we can make a difference and try to provide a bright spot in your day and something that, isn't always the most fun thing to deal with. 888-250-2091. Rick, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Good morning. I'm calling in regards to your maintenance checkups.
Yes.
I have 2 computers, a laptop, and a desk. I had the laptop brought in for a maintenance checkup, and when I get home, I've discovered all my saved bookmarks are gone.
Okay.
Is that normal?
No, we don't delete anything like that during a maintenance checkup. Now, one question I do have, though, is what browser are you using for your bookmarks?
It's Firefox.
Firefox? All right, so you may have gotten signed out of your Firefox account. Do you have a Firefox account that you can log into?
I assume so.
That's all right. No, up in the top right corner of your Firefox browser, if you let me bring mine up here real quick. Top right corner, there's 3 little horizontal bars you can click on. And when you click on it's called a hamburger menu. When you click on the hamburger menu, the very top thing on the menu, if it's an email address, that means you're signed in. And so I have a Firefox account. I sign into it. It maintains all of my bookmarks, all of my saved usernames, passwords, everything in a really secure place. So whatever computer I sit down in front of, if I want to, I can sign into Firefox and have everything I need right in front of me. If I get signed out from this, though, then things get a little hairy. So we do not delete anything from your computer, like bookmarks, things like that, when you come in for a maintenance check. We do delete cookies, though, and cookies can regulate sign-ins and logins. And so it's possible that you may have become logged out of that account, and we just need to get you logged back in. If you can give us a call in the service center, one of the things that we do, whenever you're in for anything at Schrock, when you get home, if you're having trouble, something like this happens, you can give us a call, and 30 days after you have work done, we will help you over the Schrock desk under warranty. We're not going to charge you anything to take a look and see if we can, figure out, was it because a new version of Firefox was installed and the bookmarks are stuck in an old version somewhere? We need to migrate them. Is it because you got signed out of your Firefox account? There's a lot of different reasons this can happen, but we're happy to help you figure it out and get those bookmarks back for you.
Okay, I'll call the service center then.
All right. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate your time today on the program. And you're in the drawing as well for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Greg, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Hey, thank you for taking my call. I was listening the last couple of weeks about your service special, and I took my computer into the Papillion office, and I didn't even realize until he called me. Well, first of all, he called and said, hey, you need this. Then an hour or 2 hours later, he called me back, you need this. And I thought, oh, my God, I'm getting scammed. They're trying to upsell me. And then I realized everything that Zach was telling me I needed. But more importantly, he found that my secure updater had actually expired, and I didn't even have it on my computer.
Oh,
so there's a definite advantage to having the service check, because you guys usually send me an email, and I usually re-up it, but somehow I missed it, and you're talking about that Sean, and he greeted me at the office, and
he's got such energy, doesn't he?
He's full of newness, but he's also full of enthusiasm, and that's a benefit that you can't hardly pay for.
He is. And see, like, this is a great example. So, Greg, I really appreciate you taking the time to call me, because you've actually shown me a problem that I need to address. When we do the exact thing that you thought, that thought that ran through your head, like, oh my gosh, I'm getting scammed. I said yes to one thing, and now they're going to call me back and sell me another thing because they got a mark now. They're going to keep calling back. Everything that we recommend to a customer at Schrock has a specific use case that has specific reason for being there. And we never, ever push anything on anybody that they don't need. With that said, our policy is you make one call and you offer everything in one call. Because if you do multiple calls, the thought that pops into a customer's head, right or wrong, is I'm getting scammed here. And we don't want that thought in your head. That thought leads to bad service experiences, right? So we don't want that thought in your head. So that's just one example of like how one of the small little tweaks over time that we've learned that you can't do that. So I'm going to actually address that in the Monday meeting. I'm going to have Parker take a look with the senior technicians and make sure that we reiterate to all the staff that you make one recommendation call and then it's done. You don't keep calling back Sometimes you'll find something but be thorough before you call. Now, sometimes customers call us in the middle of the diagnostic work, and they want an update, and we tell them what we found so far, and we'll say, well, we found these viruses. You should probably get Sophos. And then it becomes kind of a two-call thing, and there's nothing you can do about that. But thank you very much for the call, Greg. We got to take our final break here, guys. When we come back, the ultimate sanction is Russia losing the entire access to all of the internet, like no internet in Russia anymore. Like roll me back to the 1980s, baby, bang my shoe on the desk because I don't have internet. Is that what's going to happen? We're going to tell you. And also, we're going to take Tim's call coming up next on Compute This.
Today's fragile computers need maintenance more than ever. Your computer needs a maintenance checkup every 6 months to last beyond its 18-month expected lifespan. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Schrock want our customers to have it all, so we created a new kind of laptop, the solid-state laptop from Schrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the data recovery lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at SchrockInnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Schrock. Compute This Pro Tip 299. There are enough mothballed computers in U.S. homes to give one to every man, woman, and child in the country. Many of these computers find their way into landfills where they can leak cadmium, lithium, and other nasty chemicals into the groundwater. Schrock Innovations is very proud of the fact that we recycle more e-waste every year than we create. You can drop off any old or broken computer equipment to our service centers at any time, free of cost. We only charge $15 just for monitors because they are especially difficult to process. No appointment is required, and we accept all computer-related equipment like printers, keyboards, speakers, and accessories. Additionally, the rare earth elements in computers can be recycled right here in the U.S. to reduce our reliance on supplies from foreign countries. Take a moment, drop off your old computer equipment today, and Schrock will make sure it's properly recycled and put to good use right here in the U.S. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock, owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Schrock is open Monday through Saturday. Hours in Des Moines are a little bit different. We'll get into that in a second, but Omaha, Papillion, Lincoln, Monday through Saturday, 10 in the morning until 8 in the evening, Sunday from noon to 5. Des Moines, it's 10 to 6 and closed on Sunday. But that's a staffing issue for the most part, and not a COVID-related staffing issue, a staffing issue in that we literally cannot find a person in the city of Des Moines that we want to hire for that position, to the point where we are going to move one of our employees from Lincoln and pay to move them to Des Moines because we need somebody that can do that job the way we want it done. Somebody posted on Facebook, well, Thor, you just have bad luck with experiences everywhere. It's not that. I guess, we all talk about the bad experiences we have more than we talk about the good ones, right? Went to Dynamite Restaurant yesterday. It's a new restaurant downtown Omaha. Just phenomenal. The waiter was almost, you talk about Sean being excited. He was kind of like Sean. He was very eager, very excited, very eager to sell us wine. Very, very eager to sell us wine. I don't drink, so I was like, oh, no, I'll pass. I'll stay with water. But the food was amazing. Everything was great. Service was amazing. So, you don't always talk about the good things, and maybe, I should make a point of doing that more often. But the root canal wasn't bad. It was just that when you spend your time focused on, should you offer customers things they need one at a time or in a one group, in one call? And it seems like a very small thing, right? But when you spend your time noticing all the small things, when you notice the small things not happening somewhere else, you tend to, notice those things. All right, Tim, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This?
Good morning, Thor.
Good morning.
I have a question on a older Samsung tablet that I actually were in the process of moving and found it, and it hadn't been charged for probably 9+ months.
Okay.
Plugged it in to charge it up, and it will not recharge. It'll go into a mode of just flashing the battery about every 5 to 10 seconds, the icon on the screen, and it has done that for quite a while. I'm not sure if it's a revivable item or not, or if it's now a permanent doorstop. So fill me in. What do you think?
You say it was an iPad?
It's actually a Samsung Pad.
Okay. So basically, the batteries inside there, if they get drained to absolute zero, they will not recharge. So there's something called a battery jig that you can put the battery on that kind of forces a charge back into it. It's a component that a lot of repair shops will have. But if you're going to go through the process of opening it and disconnecting the battery and removing it and everything, you may as well just replace the battery if it's a tablet you're going to keep using. But yeah, unfortunately, you're going to have to do some work with the battery to get that up and running again.
Okay, is that something that you guys do in your service center?
Replace the battery? Yeah, absolutely, we can do that.
Okay.
I wouldn't do the battery jig thing on a battery that's been drained like that, because it basically is like a data recovery kind of thing where we get enough charge in it to get it booted up, and then I wouldn't count on that battery. So yeah, I would definitely order the battery replacement.
Is it a item that is even worth spending money on because of its age? I mean, I think it's approximately 7 or 8 years old, and the technology may be past a useful life as well.
Yeah, 7 or 8 years old. Unless you were just trying to get it powered on to get something off of it, I would not repair it to use it, honestly.
Okay, yep, that was my hunch as well.
All right. Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Got to roll.
Right.
Have a great afternoon. All right, so Russia getting cut off from the internet. So there are 3 companies that have pipelines that go into Russia for internet. We're talking about internet pipelines, not oil. 2 of the 3 have announced they're leaving Russia, which means there's going to be, Russia still has internet connectivity, but it's going to be bottlenecked dramatically. The one that is leaving now is the provider for internet for most cell phones. Also, ironically, they provide internet to Iran and Belarus as well, and they're going to be negatively impacted by this decision. So something is afoot, guys. I don't know if it's such a good idea to cut off the only source of good information they get. Congratulations, Greg. You're the winner of the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Stay tuned for the After Schrock coming up next here at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. Got some good stuff to talk about, some Apple news as well. We'll see you next weekend. Have a great day.
From the Amish Furniture of Nebraska studio, your home for made in the USA furniture. This is